That
Jan Dill's attorney at law. She won't take no for an answer. You tried to collect, but you were denied your Social Security disability. The bills are piling up. You don't know where to turn. Get the money you deserve. Get the help you need from Jan Dill's attorney at law. She won't take no for an answer.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for another VA Disability Facebook Live Q&A. I'm John Cora. I work for Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. I'm a social media specialist, community outreach specialist, and client care specialist. Currently sitting here with Jess Hacker from the VA Disability team. Jess is our team leader for VA Disability. And she's sitting next to Devin Burnfield. Hello. Devin is a case manager for VA Disability. They both have a lot of experience. This is probably the 5th or 6th time we've done one of these, so a lot of you already know how it works. If you have a question, don't hesitate to submit it. We'll be happy to answer on the air. But we do have a few questions that have been submitted already. We want to give people a few moments here to join us, though, so let's just have a quick, fun chat. Jess, what have you been up to lately?
Working. No, me and my husband actually just bought a house. We're getting ready to move.
Oh, I didn't know that. Congrats.
Thank you. Well, we have a house. We're buying another house. So we're not moving too far from where we live. But
wonderful.
We're excited. So if you want to come help me paint, that would be great.
And Devin, I know you've been busy a lot lately. What do you have going on?
Just traveling. We're doing a lot of traveling out of the river. We have a boat. So
yes.
It's exciting.
Have you had to do with the boat maintenance yet? Where it's like why did I ever buy a boat? Or is it still in the honeymoon phase?
Nope, it's still pretty good. Haven't had to do that yet.
Good. All right. Well, you guys both know that we get a lot of these Q&As and people really do enjoy them. If you do have a question, please submit it below. For now, though, I want to start with Jess because Jess and I go way back. We've been here almost 8 years together, I think. So
8 years in January.
My old buddy Jess is going to get us started. And I just have a quick question for you, Jess, because it's been a while since I've done VA regularly.
Okay.
So I'm just curious about this one specifically. I've been talking to a lot of clients lately. They've received their decisions. Mm-hmm. They've been denied, and they're not 100% sure what to do now. So what advice would you give someone who is been denied their VA disability claim?
One advice I definitely want to give is don't give up. It's not uncommon that a claim can be denied at the first initial level. Another recommendation I would do is if you don't feel comfortable appealing something, you can seek representation. Mm-hmm. That's what our office handles. We handles all different types of appeals, from the initial level clear to the BVA, even some at the higher courts. So don't give up. Another important thing for any type of claim is treatment. That's very important. Continue to receive treatment. That's very helpful for your case as far as gathering evidence to basically try to win your case. Mm-hmm. But the definitely number one thing is don't give up. I know it's very discouraging. It can be very frustrating. The process is very long. And that's what we're here to help you through the whole entire process.
So we often hear mistakes that people make. And what are some of those common mistakes? Giving up would be one. And just I think one of the biggest things I've seen, and you can elaborate on this, is people who wait too long to file the appeals.
Yes, each different type of decision has its own appeals time frame. So you definitely want to make sure that appeal gets filed within that mm-hmm. certain amount of time frame. Because if you do not, then you would have to start the process all over again.
Oh, good. That is some great information, Jess. I do thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And, Devin's been doing this with us for a while, too, and he's a wealth of knowledge also. And I think that we deal with veterans who served in the military, and whether you're dealing with the military or the VA, you're going to hear a lot of alphabet soup. It's always the letters, and VA9, SSOC, they all run together. And one of the most common ones we talk about is the DRO. Mm-hmm. And I just can't quite recall, what is a DRO or a DRO, and how does that impact your claim?
The DRO stands for Decision Review Officer. Mm-hmm. They are a technical expert at the VA, at your regional office level, that is actually when we appeal something, we're waiting for a hearing, that is who we are waiting to have the hearing with. The hearings are pretty informal compared to the higher level of courts. So it's something that the decision review officer is the person that will go through, they will review the evidence that's been submitted, they'll go through, and that's who the hearing will take place of with your attorney.
So one thing I've heard, and Devin, you can elaborate on this, is that a DRO hearing is very informal. Is that correct?
It is, yes. The unlike the higher level of courts, sometimes the veteran doesn't even need to be at the hearing. The attorney is able to represent the veteran without being there.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. You guys, this is why we have case managers in place, is that they can answer your questions. You guys, get calls from clients regularly. And that's what really separates us from a lot of the other people out there, is that we have a staff in place to answer your questions. And I think that's one of the things where if I were an individual who was going through this process, I would find that really helpful. So you got people like Devin and the rest of the staff upstairs and Jess still helps clients out on the regular, even though she's quite busy with a lot of other things. We have all these individuals in place just to help guide you along the way. So that's one of the biggest things we can see. All right, so I'm going to shoot back to Jess now. Diagnosis. Okay, so back when I was in Leeds, I would have people come to me all the time and say that I think I have PTSD. My wife thinks I have PTSD. I want to file a claim for PTSD. But they didn't actually have a diagnosis for it from a medical profession. So who can diagnose someone with PTSD?
Any doctor can diagnose anybody with PTSD. Psychologists, psychiatrists, even your family doctor could diagnose you, but you don't necessarily have to have a diagnosis of PTSD to get service connected for a psychological condition.
Okay.
So as long, if you're having signs or symptoms of it, it's not going to hurt to file the claim, because it's the VA's duty to assist and to examine you to determine if you have PTSD or anxiety, depression, and there's several different type of psychological claims and psychological conditions that any person could have.
Okay, wonderful. And I'm really glad you shared that, because I think a lot of people are worried about getting a diagnosis about PTSD, and
It is helpful.
They don't know where to start though. And most people have a family doctor who can give out referrals, stuff like that too. So sometimes it's just as simple as asking your doctor just to, who can they talk to about this? So
Yeah.
wonderful. We're going to take a quick break. I appreciate what you guys have given us so far. I want to give people time to catch up on the recording and everything. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break. And if you guys have questions, please comment below, and we'll be back in.
You never thought it would end this way. You served with honor. And now, to fight through bureaucratic red tape, like a nameless, faceless number instead of a person. To feel invisible, like everything you gave was worthless. If you're a veteran fighting to get the benefits you deserve, we can help. I'm Jan Dills. I've tackled government bureaucracy for more than 20 years, and we won't take no for an answer. You fought for this country's honor, and it would be an honor to fight for yours. If you've been involved in a car accident without the right attorney on your side, insurance companies can be hard to deal with.
No, we will not cover that.
Totally unacceptable.
No, we are not responsible.
Wrong again.
No, you're being unreasonable.
Really? I'm Jan Dills. And if you've been involved in a car accident, insurance companies are going to tell you no.
No, not covered. No, we will not pay for that.
That's why you need an attorney that won't take no for an answer.
For an answer.
And we are welcome back, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. We do have a quick question here. Ron has commented asking about RAMP, and I'm sure if anyone is familiar with VA disability whatsoever, they've heard the term RAMP, and it can be confusing, and it's all over the news right now. There's a lot of different publications going out. I personally have seen blogs that have just gone all over the place about RAMP. So just, if you could, just give us a brief overview of what RAMP is, and should that be something that veterans are looking into?
I can definitely elaborate as far as what one of our lead VA attorneys has recommended. What RAMP stands for is Rapid Appeals Modernization Program. Right now, the VA is currently in the process of completely reforming the way that they file, the way that we actually file appeals. So it's a newly established program. So our attorneys do recommend that nobody opts in, especially without speaking to your attorney. So if Ron, did you say Ron?
Yeah, Ron.
Okay, Ron, what I would suggest that you do is contact your case manager, and then they'll be able to speak with you in regards to this as far as what your attorney recommends.
Because it is complicated, and Ron has mentioned that the process
Very
is,
complicated.
as a whole is taking forever, and that's unfortunately the VA is so backed up right now, and it's just unfortunately it's not getting any quicker. So this RAMP program, we're excited to see what might happen with it. But yeah, definitely talk to someone in more detail.
Yeah, there's different types of lanes that you can take, so it's very confusing. As far as the attorneys, they have spoken with people at the regional offices as well as the BVA level. So whatever they recommend, we speak to our case managers about this and let them know so they can communicate it to the clients.
Good. And Ron, thank you so much for asking. That's a good question. All right, Devin, you're up. Ready to go?
Yeah.
So we've talked, I feel like I'm giving you all the alphabet soup ones today. We discussed earlier DRO, but now I want to talk to you about a VA-9. And more specifically, what is a VA-9 in a VA disability case, and how does it come into play for a veteran's claim?
So when you initially file a claim that you've never filed before, it's at your regional office level. And so we can get a decision there, and then we can appeal it at the regional office level. Once we appeal it, go to a hearing, get a decision from your regional office, then by a VA-9 is the form that we use, that the VA uses to appeal a decision that came from the regional office level to the higher level of court, the BVA, or Board of Veteran Appeals in Washington, D.C.
Wonderful.
So the form VA-9 is the letter that the official VA form that we use to get us to the higher level.
Okay, great. So I was always confused about VA-9s back when I was doing VA disability, more so on a regular basis, just because you get all these letters mixed up, and it's like, oh my goodness, is it a VA-9? Is it SOC? Is it an SSOC? So thank you so much for clarifying that. All right, we're going to take another quick break. If anyone has any questions, please comment below, and we'll see you in about 30 seconds.
If you've been involved in a car accident without the right attorney on your side, insurance companies can be hard to deal with.
No, we will not cover that.
Totally unacceptable.
No, we are not responsible.
Wrong again.
No, you're being unreasonable.
Really? I'm Jan Dills. And if you've been involved in a car accident, insurance companies are going to tell you no.
No, not covered. No, we will not pay for that.
That's why you need an attorney that won't take no for an answer.
Oh, for an answer.
And we are back, everyone. Thank you so much for checking us out. In case you didn't know, you guys watched a personal injury commercial. Our firm does handle VA disability, Social Security disability, and personal injury, so we can help with all three lines of business. We have separate departments for each one, especially Social Security and VA disability kind of overlap in certain ways. So if you're getting VA disability, you might be eligible for Social Security as well. Just give us a call. We're happy to give you a free consultation for any line of business. But now we're going to talk to Jess again about the term remand. And this is another one of those ones that's like, it can be confusing because it comes after a BVA hearing, correct?
Yes.
And at a BVA hearing, you can be approved, denied, or remanded, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So we know what approved means. We know what denied means. But what's a remand?
I'm actually going to elaborate a little bit on how the process works. So if you're denied at the BVA level, if they render a BVA decision denying your claim, you can appeal it to the higher courts, which is the U.S. Court of Veterans Appeals, which you have 120 days to file the appeal on that. If it gets granted, at the BVA level, what happens is the issue then goes back to the VA regional office to implement the grant. So they're going to It can delay it a couple months as to where they will issue a jury decision or a rating decision. And then if they remand something, it actually, what happens is on the BVA decision, they instruct the VA regional office to do certain things within that claim. So as I reference it, is they always, remand means it goes back for further development. So for instance, if somebody goes to a BVA hearing and they need an updated CMP exam because the BVA law judge can't make a decision yet, they will remand it back to the VA regional office and instruct them to give the veteran a CMP exam, which is a compensation and pension exam. And then at that point, they'll render another decision. I do let clients know remand isn't a bad thing. That means remand's better than being denied. So don't get discouraged whenever it gets remanded. That just means it is going back for further development.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that is a very good way to put it, because I always try to do that same thing where I say good, better, best, but, or I guess in this case it's good, bad, okay. So it's kind of one of those things where you have three different ways of looking at things, and I feel like people do get remanded quite often at the BVA. Is that true, or is that something that doesn't happen very often, Jess?
It really just depends on the client. I can't really say like a ratio. It just really depends on the client and the evidence.
Okay,
that's at
wonderful.
hand.
All right, well, Devin, we have one last question, and we're going to go to you for this last one here. We talk about communication quite a bit. Like I've dedicated most of my life to studying communication. I know that communication is key in a VA disability claim. This is also a very long process for our clients. So what are some of the ways that we keep our clients informed about their cases?
We, as case managers, as you mentioned earlier, there's a whole team of people that are working on the veterans and our clients' case all the time. We all kind of specialize in different areas and aspects of the case, and then so we then the case managers are the main point of contact for the veteran, and so we have a procedure in place that we will reach out to our clients every 90 days, providing them with an update if we haven't spoke with them in that time. We provide them with any type of, if we receive correspondence from the VA, we'll reach out to them and let them know that oftentimes they're going to receive it before we do.
Okay.
So if they would receive any type of correspondence from the VA, it's very important to let us know, because we'll always take care of handling those by responding to the correspondence, submitting anything that needs to be submitted to that aspect. Also, if there would be any type of communication as far as medical updates, you start seeing a new doctor, you get a new diagnosis, you move, you change your phone number, any change is very important to update us, the case manager, and then vice versa. If there's any update or change on our part, then we'll make sure that we're reaching out to you as well.
Okay, so the biggest failure anyone can make would be a failure to communicate with you guys, correct?
Correct.
And they can call you, they can email, they can go on our website, which if you look on the screen right now, jandills.com, you can actually go to client report and update, and you can do all kinds of wonderful stuff there. If you want to report that doctor's appointment, or if you have a change of address, you can do it all online without having to talk to someone. So if you're a veteran who works like shift work, for instance, and you're not available during regular business hours, it's a great option for you. But before we go, I have another thing to tell everyone about. Jess is holding a copy of Jan's VA disability book, Getting the Veterans Benefits You Deserve. We actually give that to all of our new employees. We give it to all our clients. It's a great guide. Jess, you've actually helped edit this too.
I did. It's very informative. It talks about the appeals process. It talks about each decision, what appeal needs to be filed. It discusses which forms you need to use to file the appeals. It's very informative, and it has a lot of great information.
I think one of the things that I like the most about it is it actually shows you what the form looks like.
Yeah, it does.
So
it shows you what the form
we have examples of all these different forms, and then if you're searching for one for yourself, you can see what it looks like on there and go online and order it. So, but if you want a free copy, go to where, Jess?
Jandills.com.
Jandills.com. Request your free copy. You can do an electronic version, or
I thought that was a trick question.
Oh.
I had to think about it.
I would never trick you. But you can do
or
it.
FightForVets.com.
Or FightForVets.com. We'll send you either electronic version of it, which you can download to your computer right away, or Matt from our VA intake team will send you a physical copy, just like what Jess is holding right there. So we want to thank everyone for joining us. I just saw that Jarrett said hello. So hello, Jarrett.
Hello, Jarrett.
Thank you for joining us, of course. And we're sorry we caught that late. But if you have questions, please never hesitate to give us a call,
Yes.
email, Facebook, anything you need to do, get in touch with us. So thank you all. We're going to leave you real quick and see you next time. So thanks for joining us.
Bye.
You never thought it would end this way. You served with honor. And now, to fight through bureaucratic red tape like a nameless, faceless number instead of a person. To feel invisible, like everything you gave was worthless. If you're a veteran fighting to get the benefits you deserve, we can help. I'm Jan Dills. I've tackled government bureaucracy for more than 20 years, and we won't take no for an answer. You fought for this country's honor, and it would be an honor to fight for yours.